I want you to get to know the women on this panel a little better.
I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I knew I wanted to work in sports. There was a time where I said, I want to be the first woman to play basketball in the NBA, and then the WNBA started, so that went that way. And then I said, I think I want to go into coaching. And then after that, I said, well, maybe I think about being an agent. And I didn't do all of that because I said, for the most part, I really wanted to do something that helped athletes. And at that time, being an agent seemed like a little sleazy, like people didn't have their best interest at heart for you. So I moved away from it. It's since then changed and has a much, much better image and just the work that they do for athletes. But my path was a little different. So I said, what do I do well? And what I did well, I work well with people, as cheesy as it may sound. And I say that for you is because when you're thinking about when you grow up, literally what you want to be, you're going to figure that out based on what you're good at now. Okay? And you're going to kind of harness and hone those skills. And as you go through college and continue with your education, sooner or later there's going to be a career ahead of you.
I was always a basketball player. So like Morgan, kind of spoke the same language, played in high school. And then I decided that it was too much for me for college. So I decided to pick all of my colleges based on dance. So I was also a ballerina my entire childhood, and I decided that I wanted to change routes. And so I went to Concordia for dance, where I started my own dance team and grew it until I was a senior, and then I'm still dancing today. So I had a little bit of a different focus, but sport was always very involved in my life. Fast forward to a mentor who I found through somebody I babysat for, and that mentor was a sports psychologist. And I was like, well, what the heck is sports psychology? I've never heard of this before. I probably could have used that as a basketball player and a ballerina, considering I needed to change my path. I was a better basketball player, but I was afraid of the commitment. And I probably could have benefited from a sports psychologist to help me figure out what I was good at and what I could benefit from. And so this sports psychologist took a liking to me and said, let me help you out. Let me educate you on sports psychology. It's not just learning how to finish your free throw. It's actually coming up with a goal and sticking to that goal and achieving it. So she was a leader for me. She was a female in a man's world. She worked at the NFL. Her name's Sarah Hickman. And she then worked at the New York Jets and is now working for the Navy SEALs and helping them transition out of the battlefield and coming home and figuring out what life is like and what that transition is like.
Prior to venturing out on my own, I worked for ESPN in their marketing department, so I was able to get that corporate experience and confidence, actually, in terms of allowing me to step out and say, this is something that I want to do on my own. As far as my early sports influences go, unlike these ladies, I was not an athlete. Ever in life. So you don't have to be an athlete to work in sports. My brother was an athlete, and my family is very close. And I really have to credit my parents, and more specifically my mom, because she was so supportive of everything that my brother did and attended all of his games and was the loudest cheering for him, that I never knew that women liking sports wasn't common. I didn't know that that was rare because she was his biggest fan, basically. So in terms of getting my perspective and learning about sports through her, that's something that I credit her for, in terms of just like allowing me to see that there isn't a gender bias, or just because you're a woman you can't excel in this industry.
In high school I started running track, and then so like some of the other ladies, that's how I thought about college and where I wanted to go to college. And I ended up going to USC. And so, they actually are out of the tournament as well, but that's all good. But they made it in this year. Basketball team is not so great. And I ran track there, and being in that environment, I kind of got hooked, and I knew that I wanted my career to be involved in sports, and I knew I wanted to make sure that that was something that I could stay in that field. Like Morgan, I also thought I wanted to be an agent. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Jerry Maguire, but when I saw that, I thought, oh, this is one way that I could do it, and they're all lawyers, so maybe I should go to law school. And as I started looking into it more, I realized that, yeah, I should go to law school, and this is something that I want to do. But as I started to see some of my friends go on to become professional athletes, I realized I didn't really want to be an agent. It just wasn't the right fit for my personality. And so that was one of those things, is that I feel like as you go through life, you'll think like, maybe I want to check this out. And you should definitely check it out, but then maybe it won't be what you want to do, and that's okay. Oh, and actually to our friend here, I went into undergrad completely undeclared. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so at one point I thought I wanted to be an astrophysicist. So I took all of the math and all of the science, and I did very badly. And so we did that out. And you know, so as I went on in my career, I ended up doing economics. I graduated my undergrad in economics, and then I applied to law school.
I always say it's not only who you know, but who knows you. So make sure you get those mentors, dream big, and take your education seriously.
If you need help with anything, I'm sure these ladies would be happy to answer any questions. If any of you guys are looking for internships after, once you guys go off to college, or just to get some advice. It's always good to have a number of people that you can call on if you have a question. You know, if you see a great article and you want to share it with them, or if you want them to give you feedback. As Mia said, it's not only who you know, but who knows you. So we can do so much. You have to also reach back out to us, and we're all here to help you to get to that place where you want to be happy in the